Hi, my name is Bintu and today I'm going to teach you how to run your first Android app. I assume that you already installed Android Studio on your machine. If you haven't, please download it from Android site. It's very easy to install also and launch it. When you launch Android Studio, you'll get the screen somewhat like this. This is the first screen that you get when you launch Android Studio. I'm using the latest version of Android Studio, that is version 2.0. Let's create a new Android app. For creating a new Android app, you have to click the first link, Start a new Android Studio project. You'll get a screen that will ask you for the application name. Give the name as my first Android app. This company domain name is somewhat like the domain that we give on the websites to give it a unique identity. Your app will run on several devices, so it should not collide with any of the existing devices. It is for this purpose that this unique domain name is given. You can give any domain name here. When you give a domain name, the package name will appear. What is the package name? It is the domain name with the application name added to as a suffix in the lowercase. After giving the application name and domain name, click on Next. With Android Studio, you can make apps for phone and tablet. You can make for Android Wear also. You can make apps for Android TV also, Android Auto also. But right now I'm just focusing on creating apps for Android phone and tablet. So I'll use the first checkbox. This is the minimum SDK API. Right now at the moment, this has been selected by default, API 15 Ice Cream Sandwich 4.0.3. And this API is available on currently 97.3% of the devices. So my app will run on 97% of devices. You have to choose this API depending upon the API that your client usually uses. So if you find that this 97.3 is less, you can go and select the more older APIs. For example, suppose if I choose API 8 Android Flow, see, this is available currently on 100% of devices. But remember that while choosing the lower minimum SDK, be careful that lower you go, lesser are the features that you can use in your app. So it's better to use a good combination. So I'll stick to my ice cream sandwich, that is API 15. Click on Next. Let's select the activity. Activity represents a screen. Basically, an activity is a Java file that interacts with your screen, the screen with which the user interacts. So it also means that if in my app I have 3 screens, I'll be having 3 activities. This is asking for the first main activity. So I'll choose the empty activity. Click on Next. It's asking you for the name of the activity. I'll give it the name as my first. You can give any name. Click on Finish. Get the tip of the day. Just close it. Android Studio will create certain files for you. We have to focus on 2 files. One is the layout file. This is that. And this is the activity file that loads the layout file. Layout file is the file that interacts with the user. It is basically the screen. It comprises of the screen with components with which the user interacts with your app. It's basically an XML file. It's loading here. And this activity file is a Java file which loads this layout file on the machine, on the device. This is by default, Android Studio creates a layout file which is not yet blank. It's an XML file. You can see it here. It has 2 tabs here. This is design mode open. When you click on text, this is the code for the layout that you just seen. If you're good in XML, you can directly code the layout through this XML. But if you want to take the help of GUI, graphical user interface, click on design. Let's enlarge it. You can see that in your app, by default, this one control is already there. This is text view control and it is displaying hello world message to you. If I run this app right now, it will obviously display hello world message on the screen. Let's run it and see. You can directly run your app on a device, but Android is available on several devices. So many different devices with different screen sizes, different resolutions. So for testing purpose, Android Studio provides you emulators. Emulators is nothing but an image of the device. Suppose you want to test your app on a certain device, you can create an emulator for that with that configuration of the device, and you can test your app on that emulator. If your app works perfectly on your emulator, obviously it will run perfectly on the device also. So these are the emulators that are provided. You can create more. This Nexus 5 API is already there, active emulator. So I'll click this and click on OK button. So my app will run on this Nexus 5 emulator. Emulator is getting loaded. This is emulator. See, so your application is run. This is your application name and this is the hello world message that I said. So your app is working perfectly well. What if I want to change this hello world message? First stop this app, click on text tab, so it will open the XML code for the layout file. Change this hello world message to whatever you want. Change it to say this is my first Android app. That's it. So let's go to the design. See, text has changed. To change the text size, what I can do that from the properties window, I'll click the text size here. Open so many options here. This is the size that is of the font. DP means density independent pixels. These are the built-in text sizes. Suppose you just select this one. Can you see it? The text size has changed. You can run it. Okay. See, the text is changed, the size is changed. You can even change the text size from here also. Click on text. Instead of these default sizes, you can directly type say 20 dp. dp, as I said, density independent pixels. Click on run again. See, so your app is running perfectly well. If you find any problem, you can mail me at bmharmani@yahoo.com. Subscribe to my channel Bintu Harmani. Thanks for watching.